is now officially 2026. 2026 is shaping up to be a phenomenal year for movies. I looked at the list of the movies releasing this year, and I picked 16 that I am anticipating. Yeah, I couldn't narrow it down to 10. I had to put 16. So in today's video, I'm going to share the 16 most anticipated movies of 2026. I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to go by release date. So January will be first, going down. Each month has at least, I think, one movie. There might be one month I skipped. I think September doesn't have a movie on here, but there is at least one movie from each month except one on here that is on my most anticipated list. So just so we're aware, there are a lot of movies I'm very excited for this year. Before I dive into my list, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what are your most anticipated movies. You can share 10, you can share 16, you can share 20, you can share 40. I don't care. I want to know what movies are you most excited to head out to the cinema for in 2026. And with that said, let's dive right in to the first movie that I'm going to go see in theaters in 2026. And that is going to be 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which, by the way, is one of my already most anticipated movies of the year. And it's probably like in the top 3. I'm that excited for it. 28 Years Later was one of my favorite movies of 2025. Absolutely loved that movie. The way the movie left off, kind of left off at a cliffhanger that I thought was really effective. And while a lot of people had their problems with that cliffhanger, I didn't. I thought it was one of the best parts of the movie. So I'm very excited to see what they do here. Seems like we're going to be following Ralph Fiennes' character more. I'm very excited to see what they do with him. Very excited to see what we do with Jack O'Connell's character and the group of Jacks? I don't remember what they call themselves. I still have to rewatch 28 Years Later, but I'm very excited to see what they do with them. I saw trailers, I saw TV spots, I watch a lot of football, and I've seen a lot of TV spots, and every time the TV spots come on, it looks crazy, it looks unhinged, and it looks like a lot of fun. And as someone who loved that first 28 Years Later movie, I'm very excited for this one. Now, I do gotta say that there is one thing that makes me nervous, and it's the fact that Nia DaCosta is directing it. Now, she's a very talented director, absolutely. But The Marvels was a very predictable and basic MCU movie, and it's come out that she hasn't really had much to do with that movie, so that's fair. But Candyman, the one movie that she had full rights to, just offended me. Because the movie has a compelling theme, but the way it's represented is white people are bad. If you're white, you're racist. And they condemn that plot by literally having an officer say in the movie, I'm gonna arrest you, not because you did anything wrong, but because you're black. And as a white person, that's like racist towards white people because, number one, there's not really anybody that like will flat out arrest you because you're black. Like, just say that flat out. And number two, the movie represented it as and every white person's bad. There wasn't a single white person in the movie that was good. So, I'm not racist, obviously, but, like, coming across saying that all white people are racist in the movie that you have creative freedom, not really my thing. But it's 28 years later. I don't necessarily think that she's going to try to shove plot lines in like that. And another thing that makes me nervous about Nia DaCosta is in Candyman, a lot of the horror scenes were a little bit goofy. And especially with the ending of 28 Years Later being goofy, I really hope that that doesn't continue that arc. So there are things I'm very nervous about in this movie, but the reviews, there have been a lot of reviews out, and a lot of them are saying it's one of the best movies, or best recent zombie movies. I can't say best movies of the year because it's January, but it confirms my excitement. I'm still very excited for this movie. I do have reservations, but for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, very excited for it. In February, we got Scream 7. I'm going into this movie excited because of Borrowed Trust alone. Now, obviously, the trailer was kind of campy and goofy, and you got Sidney having a family, and Ghostface going after them, and goofy stuff that feels very generic from the franchise. And obviously, you got all the drama, Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, they're not going to be in the movie because of the drama. But like, it's Scream. It's Borrowed Trust. Scream is my favorite horror movie of all time. The rest of the franchise, there's only 2 movies I consider mid. The rest are, like, really, really good movies. And so, based off Borrowed Trust alone, I'm already excited for Scream 7. Again, just like 28 years later, The Bone Temple, very nervous for it. I am very nervous for the movie, but it's Scream 7, and I hope that after Scream 6 was a massive disappointment to me, I hope that Scream 7 can kind of revitalize it and do what worked so well early in the franchise. And even Scream 5, which was a fantastic movie in my opinion. So, very excited for Scream 7. The Bride also has to be on my list for most anticipated movies. The Bride, directed by, I believe, Maggie Gyllenhaal. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, Maggie Gyllenhaal directed the movie, the daughter of Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm very excited for this movie because I'm a big fan of the Frankenstein movies. Even though the newest one wasn't really my thing, still, I'm very excited for it because it seems like it's going to be a cool, new, unique, fresh take on the Frankenstein lore. You got Christian Bale portraying Frankenstein, who, just looks awesome in the trailer. Jessie Buckley, who's getting a lot of buzz in the award season, already won Best Actress at Critics' Choice Award, already won Best Actress in a Drama Film at the Golden Globes last night. So, yeah. She seems to be a great actress. The trailer made it look high energy, amped up, kind of this insane movie. And I feel like it's going to be that kind of horror movie that's kind of like its own separate thing. It has insane moments, and it just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's what it is. It looks like The Bride is going to be a lot of fun. And it's the movie on this list, out of every other movie on this list, that I am the most curious about. It's not a franchise film, but it's a film that I saw the trailer and I'm like, that looks interesting. I am interested in the movie. Next up, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Now, the first Super Mario movie, no, not the old live-action one. That's a cult classic, in my opinion. I watched that movie all the time as a kid. That movie is unhinged. But the Super Mario animated movie was okay. I love that they took things from the Mario lore, put it in the movie. It's a movie very much made for fans. And Super Mario Galaxy, the sequel, definitely looks like it's also going to do that. Saw the trailer, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. You got Rosalina in here, you got Bowser doing his funny lines, you got Bowser Jr. with the Prowler theme in the background. That's got to be copyright, but anyways. It just looks like it'll be a lot more of the Mario fun. Inside the Mario world, we're going to have more Mario lore. I grew up playing the Super Mario Galaxy game, so obviously that means something to me. Super Mario Galaxy movie looks like it's going to be more of the same, but I enjoyed that first movie, so I hope it's going to be another movie in the Super Mario universe that just captures the Mario stuff and is worth watching in the end. Just like the first movie was. Not a great movie, but as a Mario fan, I did enjoy it. Another video game movie here, Mortal Kombat 2. This was also on my most anticipated list of 2025. And then they delayed the movie, I think 6 months, which is a little bit insane. I believe it comes out in May. Now, I get that fans weren't the biggest fans of Mortal Kombat from 2021. I watched the movie, it was in 2021, what's that, 5 years ago? I was 14 years old when it came out. I was raised in a Christian household, so I was not allowed to watch rated R movies. And I explicitly remember it went on HBO Max, obviously, because it was the year where they did the day and date releases and whatever. And I went behind my mom's back. My mom literally on my HBO Max profile had a parent lock on there. So I literally snuck out, found the code that she wrote down, put it on my TV, got out of my profile, went to my dad's profile, and watched Mortal Kombat behind her back. I was a bad kid, but that's not the point. The point is, that was a movie that I found a lot of fun. Also, the funny thing is, on Mother's Day that year, my mom was like, hey, let's all watch Mortal Kombat as a family. I played the games as a kid. It's not going to be that big of a deal. So I watched the movie twice, and I had a lot of fun with it each time. Did I rewatch it since then? No. If I rewatch it now, am I probably going to enjoy it as much? Probably not. But what I'm looking forward to in this movie is ultra-violent action. Obviously, I got Carl Urban in here as Johnny Cage. That looks like it should be a lot of fun. And obviously, it's Mortal Kombat. So I like movies that are very gory and just have violent action. And it's Mortal Kombat. And I didn't grow up playing the games, so I can't be offended from the mistakes of the first movie, so I don't really care. As long as I get ultra-violent gore and action, I'm probably going to have a lot of fun with the movie. I just wish I was already able to see it in October when everybody should have seen it. very excited for Mortal Kombat 2. Supergirl is going to be on this list as well. Now, spoiler alert, I got all of the comic book movies on this list that are releasing this year because I'm excited for all of them. Supergirl probably not going to be as good as Superman 2025, the James Gunn version, but it looks like it will be a lot of fun. I read the comic it's based off of. I had a good time with that. Millie Alcock looks great as Superman. You got more Crypto. You got Lobo. One thing that I wasn't so sure about the trailers is it feels like it's going to be another Guardians of the Galaxy vibe movie just without James Gunn. I hope it finds its own identity, but if it doesn't, movies like that I genuinely have a good time with, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it either way. It doesn't look like it's going to be like this big event superhero movie like Superman was, but I'm sure I'm going to have a really good time with it, especially now that we're going to have Jason Momoa as Lobo in the movie. It just looks like a good time, and that's kind of what I want from the DCU, is a movie that's going to be a good time. Not everything needs to be fate of the world or like the big event of the summer. And especially when we're having a Spider-Man movie this summer, like Supergirl's the perfect thing to release this summer. I'm excited for it. Toy Story 5 is on this list, and I know a lot of people are not excited for the movie. I know a lot of people are incredibly nervous for the movie, but the way I look at it is, Toy Story 4, a lot of people were incredibly nervous for. And Toy Story 4 has become a fan favorite for a lot of people. It's a great movie. Same thing with Toy Story 3. Toy Story 2 is kind of a weak link for me, but my favorite animated movie of all time is the original Toy Story. So it's like genuinely a great franchise. And the plot that we're tackling here about screens and how they affect the modern day children against toys, screens against toys, that sounds like a really compelling premise. So, like, it's not like they're forcing out a Toy Story 5. They have a genuinely interesting idea. My issue is Woody's back. That's kind of defeating the purpose of Toy Story 4, specifically in Toy Story 3, where we had that great ending, and then we continued on the franchise, and we had a great ending in Toy Story 4. Why are we forcing Woody to be back? If it was Buzz and Jessie, but no Woody, I'd feel more confident about that. But still, it seems like we're going to have a really compelling plot in here. I just hope that they don't do another fake out ending and then release Toy Story 6 and then do fake out ending and then do Toy Story 7 and then vice versa. But it's a compelling story. I think it seems like it'll be a compelling story. So I think Toy Story 5 is going to be able to justify itself in the end. Now, you can't have a most anticipated movie list of 2026 without The Odyssey, which is Christopher Nolan's latest film. And, I mean, it looks awesome. I mean, the trailers looked, like, grand and beautifully shot and beautiful looking with the grand direction of Christopher Nolan. I'm not the biggest Chris Nolan fan. I mean, The Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time. But his other movies, Interstellar as well, is a fantastic movie. But a lot of his other movies aren't my favorite thing. But you gotta admit, he's a great director. Everything we've seen from the movie looks like it's gonna be grand and the movie of the summer. If people would shut up, I'm actually gonna release a PSA here. If you go to the theater in IMAX and it's released that something special is gonna be played during the trailers, maybe you should shut the hell up. Because everybody and their mom decided to be talking during the special preview of The Odyssey during my screening for Avatar Fire and Ash. And I'm not going to buy another ticket to go see The Odyssey preview when Avatar Fire and Ash is 3.5 hours long. I'm not going to do that. But anyways, what I saw of it looked pretty awesome. Someone released footage from their phone of it online. It still looked pretty awesome. And so it's The Odyssey. I grew up loving Greek mythology, so I'm sure that's something that Christopher Nolan will do justice on the big screen. Gonna go see it on the biggest screen I possibly can. And obviously I'm excited for the movie of the summer. His last movie of the summer, Oppenheimer, won Best Picture. So obviously I'm excited for The Odyssey. Evil Dead Burn is on here as well. The last Evil Dead movie was my favorite Evil Dead movie. Evil Dead Rise, thought had a nice claustrophobic feel, had all the gore that I loved, and it's my favorite Evil Dead movie. So Evil Dead Burn, who's the director of this one, I believe it's Sebastian Vanasek. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. But he directed, I'm pulling it up real quick. Yeah, he directed Infested, which was a movie from a couple years ago, which was a movie where people are in an apartment building and they battle against an army of deadly spiders. So, like, yeah, it probably going to capture the claustrophobic feel. The title alone, Evil Dead Burns, sounds intriguing, and I'm a big fan of this franchise. So it had to be on here. We don't have a poster, we don't have a trailer, we don't have any of that yet, but Borrow Trust, obviously Evil Dead Burns got to be on here. Spider-Man Brand New Day is also on here, obviously. Like I've said numerous times before, the Spider-Man trilogy inside the MCU is my favorite trilogy inside of the MCU. And so the new one's got to be on here. Seems like we're going to get Punisher, we're going to get the Hulk. Like, that obviously sounds awesome. But what I'm hearing from the leaked trailer, which I unfortunately was not able to watch, but the leaked trailer, we got the Hand in there, we got Sadie Sink possibly playing a villain, and just the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home sets up a really potentially interesting trilogy in the rest of this Spider-Man inside the MCU franchise. So obviously, off Borrowed Trust, it goes here, and Dustin Daniel Creighton is directing this movie, and if you don't know him, he directed Shang-Chi, which is not the best MCU movie, but it's got some pretty damn good action. And so just off that, with his style brought to Spider-Man, I'm in. I'm all in. Like, I might be anticipating this one more than Avengers Doomsday, but everything we've heard from this movie so far sounds awesome. The set photos where Spider-Man's on a tank. Come on, man! I cannot wait for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Clayface, my number 11 on this list. I don't know what to anticipate with this movie. I know that it is written by Mike Flanagan, who has made a name for himself in horror. Actually, I haven't seen his new film yet, but I plan on doing it, The Life of Chuck, because a lot of people have said that one's great. It's directed by James Watkins, who did Speak No Evil from a couple years ago. And Speak No Evil wasn't necessarily a great movie, but I think because of the marketing, kind of spoiled a lot of the movie, but it did bring tension very well. So with Mike Flanagan, James Watkins, that's two horror names in there, so we could have a little bit of a horror movie. Obviously, James Gunn did fast track this one to being made, so that's another big sign. I don't think it's going to be like the Venom movies, where it's a movie about a villain that didn't need to be made whatsoever. I feel like there's actually going to be a compelling story, a compelling plot, and cool things to be in this movie. I don't know anything about it, but the names involved sound very interesting, and it's a movie inside the DCU with Clayface, so instantly I'm intrigued. Resident Evil is on this. Zach Cregger has made two movies, Barbarian and Weapons, and both of them were in my top 10 of the year, and their years they came out. He's doing Resident Evil. I am a fan of the Resident Evil games. Zach Cregger Resident Evil sounds awesome to me. Seems like we're getting stuff in the snow. He's very good at directing terrifying sequences, so the Resident Evil zombies and the creatures in Resident Evil could be directed very well. But based off Zach Cregger, anything he does, I instantly have Borrowed Trust for. And with him doing Resident Evil, like, that just sounds awesome to me because I love Resident Evil. He clearly wants to do this movie. He said he cannot wait to do this movie. So I cannot wait to go watch this movie. Resident Evil, obviously, on my most anticipated list. Godzilla Minus Zero. Godzilla Minus One was a massive surprise from the year it came out, I believe 2023. This was a movie I'd never heard of. Then reviews started to come out. Watched the trailer. Godzilla from the trailer alone scared the crap out of me. Scared the crap out of me in theater. Made Godzilla scary. But besides just making Godzilla absolutely terrifying, the movie also is really good with characters and had some very compelling character moments. The reveal at the end that Godzilla's not quite dead, he'll be back, made me excited. The movie won an Oscar, I believe, for visual effects. Very well deserved. And so I trust the people making this movie. I trust that they'll have a compelling story. And I trust that we're getting more terrifying Godzilla madness. So again, I'm all invested in because of the previous film and how amazing it was. The Hunger Games, Sunrise of the Reaping. I had to check the title of this one. I'm a massive fan of the Hunger Games movies. I'm not the biggest fan of dystopian type films, but I checked out the Hunger Games movies when the last one came out, and I loved it. I loved the franchise. Thought there were a couple missteps here and there, but I thought the franchise overall was great. And the latest one I thought was really good as well, and kind of the spin-off away from our typical Hunger Games story. Saw the trailer. This cast is stacked, man. Let me read the cast off to you. Not only do we have Francis Lawrence back to direct it, who, you know, he directed the other ones, but he also directed my favorite movie of 2025, The Long Walk. So that's another reason I'm very excited. But the cast here reads like this: Joseph Zada, McKenna Grace, who's a very great young actress working these days, Jesse Plemons, who is Jesse Plemons, Ralph Fiennes, who is Ralph Fiennes, Glenn Close, Ben Wang, who's another very talented young actor working today, Maya Hawke's in this movie, Ellie Fanning, Kieran Culkin. Man, this cast and people involved is stacked. So by that alone, any movie, it doesn't matter if it's Hunger Games or not, it's on my most anticipated list. But it's the Hunger Games and a franchise I already love. So obviously, it's on my most anticipated list of the year. All right, we got 2 more movies to talk about, and they release on the same day, and I'm pretty sure you can guess what they are. Dune Part 3 or Dune Messiah is on this list, obviously, because I love this franchise. The first movie wasn't the biggest fan of, then I saw the second movie and I loved it, and then I saw the first movie and I liked it a little bit more than I did before. Denis Villeneuve, I believe, is returning to direct this one. Yes, he is. Fantastic director. Dune Part 2 might be my favorite movie from him. He is my favorite director of all time. Dune Part 2 might be my favorite movie from him on occasion. Sicario might also have it beat sometimes. I love Sicario as well. But, like, borrowed trust from the name, borrowed trust from the other movies. It's already on here. But everything we're hearing, the time jump, the ending of Dune Part 2, that seems to propel this one and set this one up. Everything sounds awesome, and I cannot wait to dive back into the world of Arrakis. It sounds awesome. I'm all in on Dune Part 3. And if you don't know what the last one is, it's pretty obvious. Avengers Doomsday. Just the fact that we're getting another Avengers movie with the Russos directing, and I don't care what the Russos did outside the MCU. I don't care if it's been bad. Don't care. When you got them who did The Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Doomsday, and Endgame, and Doomsday. That's 4 movies right there that is just fantastic. Like the 4 best in the MCU. You have them doing another Avengers movie. A lot of people saying it's going to be cramped. I disagree. You have the new Avengers in there. You have Sam's Avengers in there. You got the X-Men in there. You got the Fantastic Four in there. That sounds awesome to me because, I mean, I know what they can do with this big cast because they did it in Infinity War and Doomsday and pulled it off. The teasers have been great. The teaser for the X-Men, teaser for the Wakandans and Fantastic Four, those are the ones that have got me hyped. But the fact that we're getting Captain America back, a lot of people nervous about that. I'm not. It's Captain freaking America. I can't be nervous about that. We're getting Thor back, which Thor is awesome, so who can complain about that? Avengers Doomsday I'm already very excited for because it's Avengers movie with the Russos directing, but everything that we're getting from it sounds awesome. I'm not complaining about the setup. I think the setup's good, and it's the Russos. So I'm not nervous for the movie at all. I know it's going to be great, and I cannot wait. And it is my most anticipated movie of the year. Let's just throw it out. I've saved the best for last. Avengers Doomsday is my most anticipated movie of 2025. All right, thank you guys for clicking on this video. Share your most anticipated movies of the year down below in the comment section. Throughout the year, I'm obviously going to have reviews for every single one of these movies. With that said, subscribe.